quickly look at this release on X, and it shows that Lagos, Rivers, Oyo, Kano, Delta, Bayelsa, Edo, Anambra, Akwa Ibom, and Adamawa made the top 10 generators of is it the VAT that we call, that's value added tax, we call it VAT, right? Now let's look at the chart, please, if you'd allow me. Lagos contributed 2.75 trillion naira. Guess what they received? They received 460.11 billion naira. That means they got a 16.74% of what they generated. By the way, you can find this chart on the cable index on X, and you can also follow me to look at what I've seen that has somewhat shocked me, and I'm sending the shockwaves your way as well. Now let's take a look at Rivers State. Rivers State generated, our state, the treasure base of the nation, the garden. Okay, that's for Port Harcourt. And I'm going to get too excited. Rivers State generated 832.69 billion. Quite a bit, a big gap from what Lagos State created. But yeah, they got 186.66 billion naira. That's a 22.4%. And there's something, echoing in my head. Imagine Rivers State received that 832.69 billion it generated in the year 2024. By the way, this is for the year 2024. I'm wondering how that would have boosted the economy of Rivers State, and maybe we would have had more investors coming. I don't know how it works, but I'm just thinking it would have been a positive for Rivers State. Well, anyways, let's go to Oyo State. Oyo State generated 272.41 billion naira in VAT, another far cry from what Rivers State created. The gap is even wider. I think. I might be wrong. My mathematics is poor, by the way. But then again, it received 116.83 billion naira, almost half. That's a 42.9%, almost half of what it generated, unlike Rivers and Lagos. Now we go to Kano State. Kano State contributed, I think it's the third biggest contribution, 700. Okay, no, am I wrong? I'm not seeing clearly. It is the fourth biggest contribution, actually. 77.76 billion naira it generated, and then it received 117.19 billion. That is to say, it received more than it generated. That's for Kano State. 150.7% was received. It means it received 100% of it, of what it created or generated, and then took another 50% on top what it created. As a matter of fact, 50.7%. And we now go to Delta State, which is ranked number 5. Delta contributed or generated 73.39 billion in VAT and received 80.73 billion naira. That's 110%, right? So it received about 10% plus extra to what it generated. Now, let's look at Edo. Edo generated 53.55 billion naira and received 72.33 billion naira. That's 135.1% more than it generated. Let's look at Anambra. Anambra contributed 47.53 billion, received 78 billion. That is 167.1% more than it generated. Akwa Ibom generated 46.93 billion and received 76.09 billion. That's 162.1% more than it generated. And I'll go to Adamawa. Adamawa contributed 42.01 billion, received 70.41 billion. That's 167.6% of what it generated. Now let's look at Boronu, and this is scary data, I would not lie. It generated 35.29 billion naira, but it received 76.15 billion, which is 215.8% of what it generated. Let's look at Niger State. Niger, generated 34.84 billion and received 74.79 billion. That's 214.7% of what it generated. Taraba contributed or generated 32.37 billion naira, and then when it was time for distribution, received 63.24 billion naira, a 195.4% of what it generated. Kwara State contributed 31.51 billion and received 63.63 billion, 201.9% of what it generated. Kaduna generated 30.30 billion naira and received 88.50 billion naira. That's 292.1% of what it generated. Ekiti contributed 29.58 billion, received 63.47 billion. That's 214.7% of what it generated. So now the question, I can go on, and so you would agree with me that although some of these states did not generate as much as they they didn't generate as much as they received, right? And that's what one of the issues this current tax reform is intending to change. But then I'm looking at it from the side that if indeed the tax reform says every state, gets as you generate, a lot of these states, apart from Lagos, Rivers, Oyo, maybe Kanu, maybe Kanu. A lot of these, maybe Delta states, a lot of these states just going by VAT alone. We have not talked about, 13% derivation. We've not talked about, what they have as internally generated revenue. We've not talked about all of that. Going by what I'm seeing here, a lot of states may not be able to fend for themselves if we decide to do tax reform. Which brings us back to that conversation. What do you make of the current sharing formula? My goodness. If I'm allowed to talk, I might just talk my biases. So I'm not going to bring my bias on the show. I never like to do that. I never will do that. And I'm very conscious of that. So I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm going to open the phone lines for you. I've just taken my time to read. I didn't read all 36 states, but we see that apart from the first three that I mentioned, which is Lagos, Rivers, and Oyo, the rest actually took more than what they generated. The first three mentioned took less than what they generated. Lagos even took lesser. Maybe because a lot of the companies have their headquarters in Lagos and they were looking at it from that direction and decided to give less of the commission to Lagos. But Rivers took 22.4% of what they generated. Oyo took 42.9% of what they generated, almost half. So I want to get your thoughts really on this very one. I'm looking at it and I'm trying to. Sorry, my thoughts are clouded with a bit of bias here and there. So I'm trying to shake it off. But let's get your take on this and let's hear what you think as it relates. By the way, I think from a percentile perspective. The northern region takes very much more than it generates, followed by the southeast region. Yeah, the southeast region takes more, than it generates as well when compared to the southwest. And then the south, and then the southwest. I think the southwest is ranked up there because of Lagos and Oyo State. But let's get your take on this. I really want to hear from you. I'm spitting just facts, and none of my biases found its way into our conversation. And I'm being open to you. I'm really being open to you on the show this afternoon. Trust me, I'm being open. 21 minutes gone past 5. Let's go to the phone lines now. 0817. And I can't help but laugh. I'm really sorry. But 0817 923 0002 and 0817 923 0003. 0817-923-0007. These are the 3 call numbers. And please, nobody should ask me what my bias is. I will not tell you. I would not tell you here on the show. I would not tell you on social media. I keep it to myself. I take it to my grave. WhatsApp number 0809 0306416. What is your take? Given the facts, given the charts, given the figures, what do you make of it? Do you really think that, now more than ever, we need the tax reforms? Or do you think, going by what you've seen, a lot of states may just crumble if you reform the tax structure? 92.3 Nigeria Info, your name, your location. I missed that one. Let's come here. 92.3, your name, your location, your contribution.
Good evening, my brother Kalada.
Yeah, greetings to you. What's your name?
Chinke Daniel.
All right, Chinke Daniel, let's get your thoughts quickly.
First of all, thank you for enlightening us.
All right.
Yes. One Nigeria. Bravo. At least we need to know all this. I am calling from Southeast.
Okay.
Should I call Southeast one of the beneficiaries now?
Yeah, of course, you're one of the beneficiaries. You're one of the beneficiaries.
But my brother Kalada.
Yes.
Yes. Consume or let your lifestyle be according to your income, what you generate.
Okay.
Even though Southeast is ranking that way, why should one be depending on the other states? This is why one Nigeria, or every which must answer one Nigeria. Yes. But to face the fact, it is good. What you generate, live your life at the standard of what you get. Simple and short. Chinke Daniel Mogetos one.
All right, Chinke Daniel says, live your life according to what you generate, consume what you make. But let's come here, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Quickly, we do have a commercial, so quickly, let's get your thoughts, please.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
All right, Chima DK, you're not audible enough, but let's hear your thoughts, please.
I don't want to do what?
I said you're not audible enough, but go ahead.
Okay, I said I'm Chima DK for Mokuta. Can you hear me now?
I'm trying to. Go ahead.
Okay, I am with the president in this tax reform bill because to me, it is very close to resource control. Now, the issue is that now, even if you do not have a natural resources, can you keep your environment enabling so that companies transform? Like Lagos doesn't have oil, but the environment is so enabling and so established that companies came and they are becoming one of the highest whatever. But the issue is that you don't believe in this thing, you understand, but you benefit from it. And for some time last before, that is where the origin of the problem between Yesu Wike and Bala Mohammed.
All right, I've got to go for a commercial. You also align with generate and eat what you generate.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.
5:33 p.m. I'm looking at your thoughts on what I discovered as it relates to figures of VAT distribution across the country and also generation as well. And the one that has shocked me even the most is Cross River's generation of value-added tax. I wonder if consumption is very low in the state, because the all they generated was 9.36 billion. And guess what? They received 64.25 billion. That's a 686.5% received as it relates to what they generated. Interesting chart. I'm even looking at other states in the north. I think Cross River may just be the lowest generated in terms of VAT. Or they may just have been the lowest generators, I should say. Okay, Imo State generated 4.38 billion. I think Imo State is the lowest. Abia State generated 8.68 billion, and they received 63.78 billion, 734.8% more than they received. Imo State received 1,613% more than they generated. I beg your pardon. It's really interesting, but let's get your thoughts. Let's get your thoughts, and let's hear from you. The lowest contributors or generators: Cross River 9.36 billion, Kebbi 8.77 billion, Abia 8.68 billion, and Imo 4.38 billion. Imo being the lowest. Back to the phone line: 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, 0817 923 0007. WhatsApp number 0809 0306 Now, for the Southeast, I'm thinking maybe it's time for them to do away with the sit at home. Maybe it's also time for them to look at the security issues that would characterize that area, and see how they can allow businesses boom, because we understand that used to be and still is, in my opinion, the trade hub of Nigeria. But let's not go to the phone lines where Gift is calling from Yenagua. Gift, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you. Gift, welcome. Gift, the network is not connecting. I mean, I can barely hear what you're saying. I guess we're having issues with the network now. Please do call back if you can. But the phone numbers are the same: 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, and 0817 923 0007. All right, let's come here to the WhatsApp platform, and let's see messages therein. It says the person who put this sharing formula in place. Oh my goodness. You said the person who put the sharing formula in place should be arrested. On a lighter note, though, it is very unfair. You said tax reform is in order. We need to grow up. We are not in the 18th century anymore. Something needs to be done. On a personal note, I like your shirt. Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry it won't be your size. I would have given it to you. Give from Yenagua, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Oh, this time around, it's more clearer.
It's clearer now. It's clearer.
Yes, this is the reason why Henry Serati Dixon was shouting on top of his voice and talking about the Kai Kai. And you know who took that Kai Kai matter to court is my own capacity-oriented leader. It's Moise Wike. And that is the reason why Bala Muhammad, his friend, is so angry with him. You cannot tell me you are not producing anything. You are not contributing, but you are taking larger. The larger part is coming to you. See, the one of Bayelsa is so pathetic. Even the local government aid that you talk about, that is what they are using as sharing formula. 44 local governments, but you are bringing nothing.
But Bayelsa is receiving about 98% of what it produces, what it generates.
That is what I'm telling you. If you allow Bayelsa, don't even add Bayelsa to that very thing.
I know why I'm saying that. Or you allow Bayelsa to control what they have. Allow Kano to control what they have.
Okay.
This will not be the story.
But what I'm saying is, Bayelsa is already
that are receiving more.
Bayelsa is already receiving 98% of what it generates.
Bayelsa is contributing more than even 200%.
I don't agree.
Based on our oil resources. And
No, we're not talking about resources now. We're talking about VAT. We're talking about
that
tax.
Is what I'm telling
can you understand?
Is talking about is in support of this tax reform.
Okay, but this is what
Bala Muhammad crying
give.
foul.
See, it's a conversation, right? You give, I give, right? So now I understand. What's it called now? Seriake Dixon is talking, but get my point. I'm saying Bayelsa, when it comes to this tax, is taking 98+%, which is almost 100. Now, when you look at the figures, Bayelsa is getting 64.66 billion, and they're taking about 62 thereabout billion. So the question then is, should Bayelsa State be making as much noise as they're making? And that's a very fair question I'm asking.
That is what I'm telling you. Whether you bring it from left or from right, my own point is this. I don't want to see it from your own perspective, but from my own perspective and what I understand, and with what any Niger Delta man, especially the Bayelsa man, understands, allow me to contribute what I have to the center, and allow me to give you whatever thing you need to get. Forget about this calculation they are doing.
Tax
you
and
know what Bayelsa has contributed to this country.
But you see, you're missing. That's why I say you're missing the point. Tax. What do you call it now? Tax resources and resource control are two different things. We're talking taxation. We're not talking resource control.
Taxation is what you are talking about. I'm telling you, let every state contribute to the center. Just take 100% and contribute any little to the center.
Okay.
Let's see whether Bayelsa will be in this condition.
All right, then. But I'm
you
saying.
cannot tell me that you keep Bayelsa with 8 local governments and with all these things that are happening, oppression and all the rest.
Okay.
See, Bala Muhammad cry concerning you understand that it is wicked that is advising Mr. President to go ahead with this tax reform.
But Gift, you still miss the point, Gift. Bayelsa is taking almost 100%. So when you say, anyways, Mira from Okrika, sorry, I missed that call. But let's come here. This one says, good evening, Canada. My name is, thank God, Barry Mama Hansen. On the VAT issue, with these statistics, and now realize that the North we always talk about contribute to VAT more than many southern states. And I do agree with you on that one. I do agree. It's an eye-opener, right? But let's come here. This one says, tax reform promotes transparency and accountability in government, ensuring that tax revenue is used effectively. But when it comes to tax reform here in Nigeria, tax reform is to bring pain to the masses. I wonder what you mean. I don't think there's any country where the people enjoy paying taxes. But let's come here. You see, this one, I strongly support the idea of every state should receive according to what it contributes. How on earth would the states be enjoying and officials looting the efforts of other states by giving them from what they contribute? The states would sit up. And I want to emphatically state that from whatever every state receives, it is big enough to cater for our needs in every way, even if only they stop looting. I am Obi Juru Bright. But I wonder, when you say, will 8 billion be enough for, I'm talking a year now. Of course, we're talking in the year 2024. So it's a collation of figures for the year 2024. And when you look at a state like Cross River, for instance, generating over 9 billion in a year, do you think it will really, really take care of the states? I'm wondering. I'm just thinking out loud. You may just have a point anyways. But let's come back here and let's take this call before the commercial. 92.3 Nigerian for your name, your location, your contribution.
Hi, KDB, good evening.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Yeah, my name is Muriel.
All right, Muriel, welcome.
You see, KDB, I hate this way our leaders run this country. And yet they continue to blame some states for being dormant. And they continue to borrow. Look, KDB, how do you keep a son that is 50 years old in your house? And in the morning you give him a onunu and a fresh piece of a soup. And while you serving that for the students, you keep telling him, grudgingly, son, you need to work hard.
Please,
you
I
need
need.
to go out there and work hard.
I wouldn't mind.
Look for
I would.
opportunities, you keep telling him grudgingly while you're giving him the best of the best, serving him. And you expect that one to go out and hustle when he's getting the best at home. Allow him to starve. Allow him to go hungry. Stop feeding him. You will see that he will go out there. He will not stand to that. He will not allow himself to stand to that. He will go out there and get himself something. These things that we're crying, that we're hearing, that they cannot think for themselves. Look, baby, most of these states have so much natural resources. They have great minds. Why can't they take advantage of the economic resources that come in their states? How can you keep feeding both of these people and yet you say it is so unfair, KDB?
All right. All right.
It's almost annoying.
All right, Muriel.
Not almost. It is annoying, KDB.
All right,
Stop feeding people. Allow them to go and explore their natural resources.
Okay.
And allow us to enjoy our suffering.
All right, Muriel, thank you.
It's so wrong, KDB.
All right.
Thank you.
I wish you could give me the feeding bottle when it comes to onunu and pepper soup. I wouldn't mind. But I will have to step aside for the time being. There is a commercial. When we do return, it will be time for the news. And after that, open season.